Hey everybody, this is Michelle.
And this is her sidekick, Julie. How are you, Michelle?
Fa la 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 la.
Didn't you finish someone's sentence when they were starting to sing?
I told that story already, and yes, I did. Yeah, when we were shopping. But it is the season, and we need to talk about some of the stuff that's going on this time of year.
Absolutely. You mean Christmas traditions?
Yes, Christmas traditions.
Not holiday traditions.
I celebrate Christmas. You celebrate Christmas. This is what we know. This is what we have experience in. So we're going to talk about ideas that we don't necessarily do, but some of them there. We do. Yeah. And then just some of our own, Christmas traditions.
And it might be kind of cool for people to, especially when they're starting a new household.
Yeah.
Or they're having children or grandchildren, starting up those kinds of things, to maybe think about starting some kind of fun tradition for your family. I was just talking with someone tonight and asking, hey, do you have any holiday traditions? And the answer was, I cook. I do some cooking.
There you go.
Yeah. And I'm like, well, maybe you should do something special, with the kids. It's just kind of fun, And it doesn't, it's nice to keep it going. There's been a few that I kept going all the way through up until, 10 years ago or whatever. And then I kind of stopped. I think the one thing that I'd noticed, and having, worked in retail as long as we did, we were just talking about this a minute ago. Some of the magic that everybody talks about in the holiday season was just, I don't know, kind of different because we were around
They suck it out of you. Yeah. They suck all the magic out of you.
And then you got to come home and, oh my gosh,
I was always so exhausted during the holidays.
I think working retail during the holidays, B, having children, the decorating, the parties, it was just like nonstop. And so I think that a lot of the times we get caught up, with the pressure of trying to make this Christmas or a Christmas that we're having something really spectacular, and continuing on with the traditions maybe that we had when we were younger, or starting new ones, like I mentioned before, with our own families. And, maybe missing out on the little things, the little magical moments throughout the entire month of December when we're just focusing on just Christmas.
All the stuff.
Yeah.
There's so much stuff.
Well, and it's like you had mentioned to me, it was like a week ago, we were talking about one of your kids does not really celebrate the Christmas in the, I would say traditional sense. That's not what I mean. In the sense that it is today.
Right. The tree, Santa, all of the stuff.
Yeah. And tell me his logic behind that, because it made a lot of sense.
He just focuses,
because the things that are happening out in the world that have to do with Christmas don't really have to do with Christmas.
I mean, you talk about the reason for the season. First of all, truly the birth of Christ is not in December.
Right.
So there's that. So if you're really a Bible following person, there's that. But for him, is all the commercialized.
Yes. Commercialization. That's
commercialization. And I mean, honestly, the pagan holiday that it is his reason. And actually, I mean, it makes things so much more simple. I think there's a lot of things to be learned from that in some ways for those that do still celebrate. I was trying to scale it back this year.
She only pulled out half of her boxes.
I don't do a whole bunch, but I do love to decorate. Yeah. That is, I always decorate my house. Since my first child was born, I made a Christmas stocking, and, it's just has continued on. We have all the things.
I know. And you pull it out and go, oh, I remember
I did.
that.
I was going to try to not have a tree. One, because we're fostering a dog for a couple weeks, so I just didn't want to deal with that. But
you decided to anyway.
We got the tree. And
okay, and it was so funny because her youngest, who's an adult,
he
is so excited, and you'd never know it because this kid does not act excited. He's probably really excited, but nobody knows on the outside.
Yeah,
but he's going and grabbing all his ornaments that are his own special ornaments. Yeah, and I had two of my kids ask me for their ornaments.
I mean, and there's something to be said for that. Yeah, these are lifelong lasting feelings.
Yep.
They're things, but they really are so associated with a feeling, probably a sense of, safety, security, and
memories.
And just, traditions.
Well, it's funny because Zoe had said, I want my ornaments, but I don't want to take them away from you. And I'm like, well, that's kind of why I have them. We've collected things over the years, so they have their own memory ornaments to go. I mean, there'll be plenty behind. And I said, besides, I'll just get new ones.
Yeah.
I'll have new memories or new traditions that I'll put on my own tree,
Yeah.
So anyway, I think also a lot of people think about, like you mentioned with your son, it's like, I think a lot of people don't realize the real meaning behind what the holiday is supposed to be. Holiday means holy days. I mean, there's so many different things.
I mean, Christmas, Christ is part of the word. There's so many things that we could interestingly
get into
and talk about, because I think there are a lot of people that celebrate Christmas that don't necessarily even believe in Christ, or the birth of Christ, or any of that stuff.
So what I'm saying, though, in agreement with that completely, is that it has evolved into other things that really have to do with family and caring and thinking of other people and being grateful and
giving
thankful.
and gratitude. So
you don't have to be religious, I guess, is what I'm saying, to celebrate the holiday per se,
right?
Although that is what the holiday is intended for,
right?
But I think the more important thing is that you're really using that time well to tell the people that are in your life that you love them, or that you are enjoying spending time with them. And I laugh when I'm saying this because, sometimes we don't pick our family, right?
Right.
So some people don't want to spend time with their family. So I don't know. It's kind of funny how there's so many different dynamics that go along with it.
Did you have any specific Christmas traditions growing up?
Not a ton, really.
And let me just say, I guess we didn't really say why we're talking about this. Obviously, we're in the midst of the holidays season, Christmas season. This is what we celebrate, like I said. So this is why we're talking about it. But just kind of wanted to go through things, maybe give y'all some ideas.
Yeah,
you might hear some things that we talk about. Yeah, that you might want to try with your own families, that kind of thing. So traditions for you growing up?
I mean, I remember we didn't have a ton, we didn't have like a lot of presents and stuff like that. That's really not what we were doing.
Yeah.
Just because we didn't probably have the resources to do it. But we would have like one present open on Christmas Eve after we'd go to mass, and then midnight mass when we were little. Like why they did that, I don't know. We're like 8 years old, falling asleep in the pews, We would have that, and then the next day breakfast, and then we would each open a present. So it was like, so we stretched it out really far, because everybody like stopped and waited for that person to open. And I remember being at my cousin's house, and it was like a free for all. Yeah, everybody's ripping stuff apart all at once. I was so confused. I'm like, what's going on here? And because it literally was over in like a couple minutes, and you don't even know what anybody got and who gave it to them and all that sort of stuff. So I don't know. Everybody's got their own thing. The other thing too with my family was very formal. Kind of on Christmas, it was, sit down dinner.
On Christmas Day or Christmas Eve?
Both.
Oh.
Yeah. There was no such thing as a football game on.
Oh.
I mean, there was no sports. There was no TV. There was nothing like that. And I remember when I'd first gotten married, of course, my ex is like a diehard Packer fan and could not understand why the TV couldn't be on. My parents are just looking at him like, what are you doing? And they thought he was really antisocial. But it's the way that they were raised.
I mean, it's interesting saying that because we didn't watch TV on Christmas.
It was just football. I didn't watch anything on Christmas.
Yeah, I mean, football or otherwise, we didn't. It wasn't on. I come from a Scandinavian background, so the tradition for that is Christmas Eve. Yeah, is when you open your presents. I'm from a musical family, so we grew up on Christmas. We would have Christmas dinner, and then we would take plates of Christmas goodies and go Christmas caroling. There were 8 of us, so we were like a little mini choir.
You were your own choir. Definitely.
My mom played the piano. We recorded it on a cassette tape. We piled in the station wagon with all the things. And then we went out and hit, I don't know, probably at least, it takes a little time to file in and out and drive in the snow of Minnesota. And so, I don't know, 5 homes or, people out and about. And we would sing Christmas carols. And then we would come home and open our Christmas presents on Christmas Eve.
Okay.
And then whenever I tell people that, they're like, what'd you do on Christmas Day? But you have all the Santa stuff on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
So it's like you got the presents on Christmas Eve, and then you go to bed, and then you wake up and you have all the Santa stuff on Christmas morning. And then, we would play Christmas music really like all
throughout
day,
the whole day.
Play with our stuff and play with each other and
hang out. Anyway, I think I tried to develop more things with my own family. I think, we just we had our dinner, we had our tree, there weren't a lot of, we didn't bake and do a lot of that stuff that I remember.
We did. Yeah.
Anyway, what I was getting at is before, it's a time to really spend with family and friends and reflect and have a good time and just get caught up and, enjoy each other's company. Whatever you do, whatever you believe, wherever you are, that's kind of my logic behind it. Anyway, what were some of the things besides the things you did when you were little that you started to do with your own family?
So opening presents on Christmas Eve is not that popular. I've come to find out, most of us that married into, when we got married, the other family didn't do that. And the same with me. We opened our presents on Christmas Day. And honestly, it's so overwhelming. You have all the presents. And I really, if I could go back and do it again, being the person I am now, I would probably stand up more and say, I want to do it like this.
Yeah.
And, carry on that tradition. But I would put towels on my boy's head and tie him with bathrobe ties, and we would do the manger scene.
Oh my God.
And read the Christmas story out of the Bible.
Really?
Yeah, we did do that occasionally because we grew up kind of doing that sometimes. Not all the time, but it was something that, would happen. I mean, just the Christmas stocking, the usual, the stuff. Christmas stockings and putting the Christmas stocking in front of their pile of stuff so they knew whose stuff was what stuff. In the morning. We just did one present on Christmas Eve, kind of like you. And it was usually pajamas. Yeah. Christmas pajamas.
And everybody had the same ones? Mm-hmm. Yeah. They're all matching.
Mm-hmm. Or either matching or same type. Yeah.
Here's some things that we pulled together that were some of the things we've done and other things from people we know, but we can just kind of run through these and see if they resonate with anyone, because there are a lot of really fun ones. So Christmas cards, I was really into the picture Christmas cards. And I always did something kind of unique or fun and did a Christmas card every year. And sometimes all of us were in it. Sometimes just the kids were in it. And there was like one time I did this really artsy one where it was just all of our, like from our mid thigh down. You could see like we're all lined up, right? Oh. We're all lined up, and then you can see like the dad's shoes, the mom's shoes, and the kids' shoes all the way down to the little shoes. Yeah. People got that in the mail. A couple of my relatives got that in the mail and go, I don't get it. Yeah. I thought it was cool. That's all that really mattered, I guess. You couldn't see your face, but they could see your shoes. And I had some, pretty rocking shoes on, I think, that I remember doing that.
Did you ever do a Christmas letter?
I've done those for my mom, but I personally never done that.
I never have either.
Whatever I could write, it would have to be on that Christmas card, that I would put a personal note or something on it. Yeah. Did you do a lot of baking?
I did do a lot of baking back in the day. What's weird is I did way more baking when I had small children, and it was probably much more difficult to do the baking than I do now when it should be easier.
Because we will eat it all.
I guess maybe that's why.
Yeah.
But I Spritz cookies are my signature. Spritz cookies and pretzels, decorated, chocolate dipped, and decorated pretzels.
Are Spritz cookies sugar cookies?
No.
Oh, they're like shortbread?
Ish. Shortbread-ish. Okay. They're more, those are the ones that you put through the press and you make the little designs.
Do you have a good sugar cookie recipe?
Little trees. I do.
Oh, I might have to borrow that from you.
I used to do that. I used to make sugar cookies, all the cutouts, and I would decorate them with the frosting. I mean, I would give the snowman the eyes and the reindeer the things. I know, kind of insane.
So I would do cookie exchanges, and you'd have to wear pajamas to come over, and then everybody bring a plate of cookies, and then we'd put it all out, and then everybody would, if you brought a dozen, you took a dozen.
Take a dozen, yeah.
And you would go home with like tons of different kinds of cookies and stuff. So I would make probably 6 or 7 kinds, and of course they all had chocolate in it.
Of course.
They're all chocolate cookies, except for this one Mexican wedding cake cookie that I really liked. It's like a shortbread.
I love those.
Yeah, they're really good. But so I did a ton of baking too. That was fun. I enjoyed that a lot, but I don't do as much of that now because, I either have to give it to you and you eat it, or I make Isaac eat it, or I'll eat it.
Yeah.
So, and I try not to eat as much of that stuff if I can.
What do you do with your Christmas cards that you get? I don't. It's so sad because
I don't really get
as many cards now, and it's really, it breaks my heart. As you know, I'm old fashioned that way with letters and cards and things. So Christmas cards, I hate for it to see a lost.
I actually made I was scrapbooked, and so I actually made albums that were just for the Christmas cards, because the ones with pictures. I always kept everything that had pictures in it.
My grandma used to make little books. She would take Christmas cards. She was kind come from the Depression. So they would do something with anything.
Right.
And everything. But this is when I was young, she would take Christmas cards and she would cut the front off so you would have the picture of the card, and then she would put them back to back in a Ziploc bag, right? She would do that in a bunch, Ziploc bag it shut, and then take a hole punch and put 3 holes in the flap of the Ziploc bag and tie yarn around it. And it would be it was like a little book with the different cards and pictures. You
can keep them. I would hang them all up. Like I would have like
that's what I do.
A ribbon.
I still do that.
Yeah. So just so you can see them throughout the day. But I don't really get that many. There's a couple of friends that I have that still do them and their kids are older now. And so I always keep that stuff. Yeah. And I think I might do it this year because I got a decent picture when we were on our trip. But I didn't do any last year. I did some the year before, I think, because I'd had a family picture taken, that sort of thing. Yeah. So also holiday movie marathons. A lot of people do that. You were telling me how excited you were about the Hallmark Channel. Every story is almost identical, which cracks me up.
I'm not so into it like I used to be for whatever reason. I think because there's so many of those movies now. Yeah. It's not just Hallmark Channel. They're on Netflix. They're on Hulu. They're on all the things and they are all the same. Hallmarks are a little more cheesy because the names of the towns and the names of the people. And, it's like Kris Kringle Way. And I don't even know, just like all the things. And they are all the same. But I like the holiday movies like White Christmas and the old school Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. And
the really old school ones.
Yes, like all the classics. Yeah. I like to be able to see.
So you don't like those. Christmas Vacation or any of those?
I never really got
I've never watched them.
Oh, really? No. I've watched them, but I'm not really a fan. Yeah. Like they're funny, but I'm just more of a traditional old-fashioned classic kind of girl.
No. Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so volunteering is another thing, helping with, I did that a few years with the kids, like we did soup kitchens and stuff. I just thought it was really important for them to see things from a different perspective.
For sure.
It was like pulling teeth to find, honestly, during the holiday season, it was very hard to find a place or resources that needed help because they had so much help. I know that sounds really odd, but really there's so much emphasis that's placed on this time of the year with giving, with food banks, with all that kind of stuff. And during the rest of the year, there's not as much. So it's almost like to spread it out would be good. Yeah. So
I a few years back and kind of even since I started, for that reason, I started keeping things in my car that I would just hand out when I would see people in need.
That might be it.
If it spoke to me, like, you know what I mean? If I felt like I wanted to give, I had like little packs with travel toothpaste and soap, hand soap
hygiene
and
kits.
Little hygiene kits and hand warmers and different things like that I would just keep in the car. And
I think that's more common around here too, because because
our homeless
population's bigger. But
and this one time there was a guy playing his guitar, old. He's was always kind of in the same place, and one day I decided to stop, and I went up there and I gave him money for playing the guitar. I sat there and chatted with him for a little while, just like the whole, not something
probably
I would do normally,
day.
but and we took a picture together.
Oh,
just things like that.
Well, I think in that same school of thought with volunteering, I haven't done this obviously in a few years, but when the kids were little, they would do the caroling and we would go to retirement homes or convalescent homes. And oh my gosh, the people there absolutely loved it. Yeah. Yeah. It was like a simple period of time. And these kids, they're fresh faced and young and they're full of all of these different songs and they're excited and it shows and just all that energy and stuff. Yeah. People really, really seem to love that.
I'll be that person. So y'all that are young and got kids coming up, make sure you bring them to the homes because I'll be that bright-eyed old lady that will be so glad that they're there singing Christmas carols.
Yeah. I'll come sing for you.
Okay.
Yeah. I won't be there.
Roomy.
Yeah. Roomy. Yeah, no kidding. Okay, so obviously church, and like for me, it was midnight mass. That was something that we did quite a bit. And then I did not do that with my kids because I just thought that was kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, we didn't do church on Christmas.
I know. I was asking about that earlier because I remember my neighbors, it's like they didn't go either. And I thought that was so weird. They're Mormon. They didn't go either. I didn't know why. I figured that would be
church on Sunday. I mean, if Christmas happens to be on Sunday.
Right.
Yeah, nothing out of our way. There's like no congregational thing or gathering on Christmas if it's midweek or anything. We'll do that.
So that was definitely something that we did. And you felt, I mean, kind of guilty if you didn't go, you know. So there were a lot of years that I didn't go, you know, when I was an adult. But when I started having kids, it changed. And then we would do the kids' masses and we started.
Because you loved it so much when you were young, right? So you wanted to start taking your kids to give them the same experience.
Yeah, that's the reason. No, because
you loved it so much as a child.
But think about it. It's like for children, I mean, I know it's good for them to be in these environments where they're having to be quiet and but come on, I mean these Catholic masses are like an hour and a half long. You know, when Jared, think about him when he was little, he was bouncing off the walls. It was really not fun. So anyway,
for anybody.
So parents that are out there with little ones, you know what? It's like, give yourself some grace.
Yeah.
Don't stress about some of these things so much because you're kind of missing out on
I'm listening to you and I'm glad us Mormons didn't go to church on Christmas because like they had 1 million kids. So that would be
my gosh.
right?
Except they were so well behaved. They're probably all lined up. Not my kids. Not my kids. But okay, so tree cutting, that was another one that I know a lot of people have done where they actually go like the weekend after Thanksgiving and they find their perfect tree up in the mountains somewhere and they cut it down.
Or just in general, growing up, because I lived in Minnesota, but we did always go get a live tree.
Yeah, we had live trees too. Yeah. We never ever had fake trees.
I don't know that there were fake trees back then.
I don't know, but I love my fake tree.
Yeah, I still get a real tree.
I know. I don't. I would burn my house down.
It smells so good.
You better not burn the house down.
I'm not going to burn the house down.
So yeah, tree cutting, tree lighting ceremonies.
I've never been to one.
They have them down. Well, they have the one downtown in Seattle. That's the weekend after. It's the Friday after Thanksgiving, and it's kind of fun. You know, it's very, very crowded. I've only been one time, and I worked down there because I was like, get me the hell out of here. You know, by that time of the day, on the day after Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
I know the little Bavarian town we have over on the other side of the mountains, Leavenworth. Yeah, they have tree lighting ceremonies, and it's a big deal. It gets sold out over there, and it's these big, gorgeous, beautiful trees, and they turn the lights on. I think they do it every day.
Well, I heard that they don't have an actual they used to do a tree. My sister goes over there every year with her daughter and granddaughter. And she was just talking about this yesterday. We were together and I wasn't listening, obviously, but for some reason they don't have the actual tree lighting ceremony like they used to. They do have all the lights and the trees lit all the time.
Yeah. And it extends beyond Christmas too.
Yeah.
I think
it's very beautiful.
I think that might be like a business decision.
Well, and just like all the people, I'm sure it was kind of a thing and probably a little bit difficult to manage.
Yeah.
As popular as it became.
I'm sure every state and, you know, every large city has something very similar, right? So tree lighting is a nice tradition that a lot of people have done, you know, with their families. And it's usually the weekend after Thanksgiving and they don't work retail, just saying. And then the matching
Christmas pajamas. Did you have that?
No.
We did.
I mean, maybe when we were little, I don't remember anything about that. I did not do that to my kids, but I was laughing. So Andrew, my oldest, he has his boo, you know, she's all put together and everything. Well, her family does it, right? So the next thing you know, a couple years ago, it was his first Christmas with her. And I get a picture of that Amelia took or her mom took. Andrew and Amelia and Oliver, the dog, are all in matching pajamas. I was like, oh, he is so whooped.
Yeah.
He is so whooped
That's
that you
funny.
got him in those pajamas. But yeah, it's their family tradition.
Yeah, I have a picture, my mom and dad, there's probably about 6 or 7 of us, and we are all men and women, boys and girls, like all alike. We're all in matching night shirts. Like Christmas, they're pink and they have partridges, like, you know, partridge in a pear tree, I guess. But yeah, they have all this. And yeah, the guys, it was like a night shirt down like to mid calf.
Now that would be a picture to pull out and frame to take to your Christmas party.
Oh, that's true, actually.
That would be a good one.
Good idea.
Especially if it's pink and nightshirts.
I know, it's kind of crazy.
I think it's great. One thing we did do, and I know a lot of people do, is they get the picture taken with Santa every year.
Yeah.
So in the Northwest area, it's the Nordstrom store that has them, typically the downtown store. There's also Macy's and there's some others, but we always did the very same one because the background would be the same and the pictures would be the same. Santa was always different.
Yeah.
But the kids didn't really notice that. But yeah, you'd have to wait in line outside and it's cold. I mean, we did it. We totally did it. You can see I've got those pictures up for every year.
Nordstrom's pretty diverse too. They always have a black Santa that you can look up and see when he's going to be there. An Asian, do have an Asian Santa.
Yeah, they definitely have time slots.
Different cultural.
I think that's wonderful that they're doing that.
Yeah.
One really cool thing that I did do when the kids were little, and I didn't keep it up obviously when they got a little older, is I had gotten together a bunch of books, Christmas books. So I would get all these little, just like board books or children's books that were for Christmas. I kind of did it during Advent. We start like at the beginning of December, and they got to pick a book out.
Oh, and you would read a different story every night.
Read a different story, every night. So I usually had, a good 25 books.
I actually remember doing that one year, but somebody had given me a binder that just had all these stories in it, so we would read a different one. Not as fun.
But anyway, they got to pick that, and that was kind of fun to do. And then we would always leave out cookies and celery for Santa.
I never left celery out.
Well, celery is for the
reindeer.
The reindeer need to eat something too.
Yeah, I know. I never growing
and
up
milk, like
milk
a glass
cookies,
of milk. And I'm thinking, if Santa's showing up at 4 a.m, that milk's going to be nasty. It's been sitting.
So one year there were footprints on the roof of the house.
Oh, okay.
And another year there was red felt that got caught on the grate in the fireplace.
Oh, yeah.
So it was like Santa tore his pants or
was
something.
Here, yeah. Well, we would take a big drink of the milk and a big bite out of the cookie and a couple bites out of the celery. So my youngest in particular was just like so mesmerized by that stuff. Oh, look at the reindeer they ate. He would get so excited about it. Did you put lights up on your house?
I always wanted lights on my house. And we never really got lights up on the house.
Really?
No.
I don't know that. Well, we did in my house.
We did not.
Yeah. I mean, not when I was a kid.
And I would work retail and it would make me absolutely crazy because I remember one year I tried to get the boys to do it because my husband never did it. So then I was trying to get the boys to do it and it just like never happened. And I didn't do it. Someday I'll have lights on.
Hey, Rick.
A house.
She doesn't have any lights on her house ever. Hint, hint.
One day.
One day, yeah. Where they would write a letter to Santa and then we would quote, mail it, right?
Oh.
Literally put it in the mailbox.
Yeah. Yeah. We've done that. When I growing up, we used to hang, of course, all the stockings across. We had a fireplace with a literal thing, and there were like all the stockings. But we would, before we went to bed on Christmas Eve, we would write down our list, and put it in our stocking for Santa. Okay. That's what we did.
Wouldn't it be kind of late then? I mean, Santa's already in his sleigh.
Yeah. I know. I don't know. That's just what we did.
We would come home from, we would always get Chinese takeout on Christmas Eve. We started doing that.
A lot of people do that.
Yeah. I don't know why we did that. I think it was just we'd order it and pick it up on the way home and we'd have the big spread of, and then the big thing was they would go watch NORAD, which is it was a website basically. It's like a government
watch
where you could see Santa and where he was. And so it's like, well, you guys, he's in New York, so you better get to bed.
I know.
He's going to be here before you know it, Anyway, yeah, we did that too in the letter to Santa.
I didn't do any I'm like a terrible wrapper.
Oh, I don't make it all fancy.
A present wrapper. I am not very good at it. It looks decent. I do a fair enough job, but it is not anything spectacular or fancy.
When you really think about it, it's such a waste. I mean, it's nice to have something to open up and stuff, but the amount of time that you put it in all the ribbons and all these things, I don't know. I like opening them like that, but doing them, I just would put paper on them and I'd write with Sharpie on them.
And I don't mix up the paper. I mean, like if you're an adult and all I have is Santa paper, you're getting Santa paper.
I would try to do a different paper for Santa gifts. That was just Santa gifts.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. Okay.
And again, we didn't go crazy. I mean, they would get little things. So they'd have little things to open, but I didn't go really crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll remember when Andrew was 12 or 13, he got his first Xbox. He couldn't even breathe. He was so excited.
Oh, yeah.
I remember that so specifically because he does too, because he was just beyond himself that he got that. But
That's funny.
Anyway, well, let's talk a little bit about some activity ideas, because there's a few things that we came up with that some of these people are definitely going to know. And I kind of chuckled when I was looking through some of these because we've done them ourselves. Like you're setting up to do the white elephant.
Yes, we do a white elephant gift exchange.
Okay.
When we all had younger children, we would get together almost every year at Christmas time. And so we would do a white elephant gift exchange because there's just too darn many of us to make it anything else.
Explain what that, just basically what that is for
a white
people.
Elephant
why
gift
is it called
exchange.
A white elephant?
I don't know. I don't know why it's called a white elephant gift exchange, but you bring a present wrapped. This is how we do it. You bring a wrapped present, and it's something you're regifting something maybe that you got but aren't going to use or that, don't want. So you can give that away, or sometimes people will put a dollar limit on, how much you can spend to get a gift. But typically a white elephant is going to be regifting something or something that you have just kicking around the house.
Or it's funny.
Yeah. Or if something funny, it's nothing that you're really going out and shopping for.
So white elephant, the term white elephant, it speaks to what you're talking about. It's maybe extravagant or impractical, a gift that can't be easily disposed of. And that's why I think a lot of people take the same one and re-gift it over and over again. Or you'll see some families, it's like the same gift will come back year after year.
We have a fruitcake.
A fruitcake, yeah.
It comes back year after year, literally for like 20 years now.
Oh, yeah.
The same fruitcake.
So the phrase that is said to come from the historical practice of the king of Siam, which is now Thailand, giving rare albino elephants to people who had displeased him so that they might be ruined by the animal's upkeep costs.
Because that's the thing, is in the end, you might end up with something really, ridiculous.
This is going to take up room in my closet.
And you can, as you open the gifts, you take turns. So I can either keep the gift I have. You can do that one time.
Okay.
If I love what I have, I can keep it. Or if I want to take the chance and open a different one, I can do that and you can take somebody else's. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's
but
like this.
You can take it one time.
It's like this game. Yeah.
It's a really fun game.
It is.
I like that
it
game.
is fun. Yeah.
It's fun to see what people wrap up and stuff. There's a game that I actually ran across, I think it was on Instagram actually, that I thought, this would be kind of fun to do on Christmas, but there's different versions of it. This one that I have here is called the Jingle Bell Toss, where you basically use red Solo cups and you do the toss of, just a jingle bell. And if you make it into there, you get to pick something under a cup that's like numbered, whatever that number is.
Oh, it's not like beer pong or something.
Well, it's basically like kind of like
not
beer,
a drinking game.
Kind of like beer pong. I guess you could make it into that.
Yeah, you sure could.
But no, you toss it in there, and then there'd be cups over on the side that would be labeled like 1 through 10. And so if you got your ping pong ball or your bell or whatever you decided to use to toss in number 3, then you would get the prize
Whatever's
from number 3.
I got it.
Yeah, and the prize would be money or candy or whatever, just something really silly. But I thought that was kind of a fun one to do.
Yeah, that would be fun with kids.
Yeah, I think so. Also, there's scavenger hunts you can do.
Yeah.
And there's forums online for like Christmas scavenger hunts. You can just Google and you can find these different scavenger hunt forms that you can use for some of these games and things that you're wanting to play.
This is backtracking a bit, but the movie thing, like what you were talking about, like the movie marathon, Christmas movie marathon. I knew a family who they did like a Christmas camp out.
Oh, yeah.
So they would camp out in their front room and eat pizza and
like put their sleeping
Christmas
bags
movie
down
they would all just hang out there.
Probably on a non-school night or like the first day that the kids got out of school.
Yeah.
And we're talking about kids a lot because obviously Christmas is based a lot around children, and we don't have any young children ourselves, although there's grandchildren in the mix for Michelle, but there's a lot of people listening who have grandchildren who are having grandchildren over when their parents are going to parties and things like that. So there's a lot of these fun things that they could maybe do.
And really you can do a version of this stuff, just kind of like how Thanksgiving has this whole Friendsgiving thing for people that maybe don't live by their families or just friends that get together. There's probably a version of all these things that you could do in the same fashion. Yeah. With friends, just like hanging out or having a... So basically what Michelle's saying is the Jingle Bell toss would be a beer pong toss. Yep. Bingo. Yeah, there's also a bingo game. Yeah. So all these things that we're mentioning, you just Google it. Christmas bingo game, and it'll give you the sheet for it, or you can add whatever you want into it, but it's kind of fun.
One thing I thought was really cool that I've never done, but I've heard about other people doing, is that when they have a live tree, that they take a slice of the tree trunk.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, and then shellac it or whatever and poke a hole in it, and then they use that as an ornament, and they write on there the year that it was, maybe who was in attendance, whatever they want to write on there, or have people sign it, and they use that as an ornament on their tree.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
I thought that was kind of a cool one. So
we did go drive around. That is one thing, a tradition that we did that me and Isaac have done over the years, since it's just been me and him, is going and looking at Christmas lights. There's a few neighborhoods that become very well known for the lights that they have. So we would always seek those out. That's typically something that we would do on Christmas Eve.
Oh, wow. Okay.
We would go look at Christmas lights. And there's this one neighborhood back in Mill Creek. I discovered it probably 10 years ago, that they have where you put your radio station to music. Wow. It tells you what to set your radio station to. And then all the lights are in sync with the music.
People's houses?
This one house.
Oh, this
one house particular. Yeah. And so all their lights are like, it's pretty amazing. Me and Isaac still go watch that every year.
Can you imagine the power bill?
No.
Of course, that's what I say.
There's a lot of houses that do that now, though. But like 10 years ago when we discovered it, it was a thing.
There's Candy Cane Lane in Seattle. Have you ever been there?
I've not ever been there. I've heard of it.
Yeah, it's over by the UW kind of. That one was pretty cool. Kind of a windy little road, and everybody obviously has to kind of decorate. It's probably a prerequisite for living in the neighborhood.
I know neighborhoods like that,
which would be fine, I suppose, if you like to decorate.
Yeah.
So, are there any other things you can think of that we'd want to share with people, like games or?
No, I think, just like the decorating and the baking and the games and just the traditions that you grow up with and that evolve as you then have your own family. I just think it's pretty special.
I do too.
Yeah.
I think those are the kind of memories I want to have, or I want to instill with people and in my family.
Very telling. Like I was saying, my youngest, who's 23, still back to what we were saying at the beginning, you can see how those traditions really do fill somebody's heart, even as the years go on. Because as we get older, we can't always be with them. You want that. I guess that's what can be so special about it.
That's what makes people miss their family.
It's a part of, who they are and growing up, and it brings them back to that. So,
right.
Yeah.
I have found like after Christmas, it's like, I cannot wait to get everything put away.
Speaking of which, I got a present today to give to you.
You did?
Yeah.
Are you going to tell me what it is?
I know.
Then why are you telling me?
It's not wrapped, but I have it. I'll go get it when we're done here. And
I get it before Christmas?
Yeah, you get it now.
Okay.
So somebody at work gave it to me to give to you.
Oh, geez. Ouija. Well, I've enjoyed talking about this a little bit, but it's kind of gotten me a little bit more excited about, I've got everything out. I've done some baking. It was not holiday baking. It was because I wanted something chocolate. Yeah. But I'm excited for the next couple of weeks to come up and playing the Christmas music. And I ordered Christmas outfits for the dogs today.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. I'm that person.
So not matching pajamas, but matching Christmas outfits. Are they matching?
They're different colors, but
there you go.
Yeah.
We'll have to get a picture of them.
Definitely.
Up on the page. So whatever it is you celebrate this year, I know we've been talking about Christmas, but I know Hanukkah is just around the corner.
And Kwanzaa is coming right up after Christmas.
So there's everybody that has their holidays, whatever it is you celebrate and observe. We wish you nothing but the warmest of all of those things that you do personally and with your families.
And enjoyable and lots of memories. Make lots of memories.
Yeah. So hopefully we gave you some good ideas.
With that in mind, I think we should just let everybody know that we're on socials.
Oh, yeah. All the socials.
Yeah.
And also, if we talked about something that you're kind of not remembering or want to revisit, just download the episode when you're on Spotify. Just go ahead and download it, and then you can go back to it very easily.
Or any of the others for that matter, not just Spotify, but
yeah,
the downloads. The downloads are important.
We need the downloads, man.
We want the DLs. Is that like the down low?
Downloads. All right, everybody.
All right. Fa la 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 la.
Yeah. La 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 la.
See you later.
All right. Bye.
Bye.